What you see right here is they're packing the sand down for the pavers. On the outer edge right there, I had a question about those are stackable blocks, and he was telling me that they use them for the base on the outside that's going to support all of the flat pavers that's going to go in there. I found that kind of interesting, so I'll try to do videos as time goes on here to show you what the process is. In case any of you are ever considering this, you'll at least know what's going on. They've been here for 4 or 5 hours now. The front part is pretty well done. I haven't seen them do the sand sweeping thing yet. I don't know if they're even going to do that, but we'll see. I know this is probably boring to a lot of people, but for people that's wanting to buy in the villages or doing any kind of landscaping, these are little things that'll be interesting to them to know how the process is done. We're using Terrascape. It's over on Highway 301. They've been here for a long time. They've got a really good rating. They've been having problems here in the last few months, not because of anything other than COVID related. Employees not coming to work, ordering parts and can't get them in on time. Our stuff was back ordered at least twice, and we've had to wait. So this is the biggest problem right now, but it's getting better. Okay, as you can see, they got the border edge around it, and they got the sand, whatever it is, inside. And they've got the flat, what I'll call flat pavers, sitting there stacked up, ready to go in. They're taking a break. I don't blame them. It's I think 90-some degrees out there today. Very humid. Okay, let's go outside and they're done and see what the finished project looks like. And this project ain't over. This is just the first part of it. There's the paver look. And as you can see, the stackable blocks they put down here on the bottom, that adds as a base. That just goes around the outer edge, all the way around, and then they fill it in with the sand, and then they pack the sand down tight, and then they start putting all these pavers in, and then they lock them in place with that, I don't even know what you call it, that little sand that they kind of sweep over top of everything, and then they water it down, let it dry, and then they come back with a bucket of sealer and they rolled it on really thick. So they put a sealer on top of that. It's been 24 hours. They told us to stay off of it. This is the back half. This area here he cut out because we're going to put a trellis, and I think we got to go check with ARC first about that trellis and get ARC approval on that. So we got to go up there and check on that, and if that's the case, then we're going to put a trellis right there, maybe a viney type plant to go up the trellis, and that'll give us a little bit of a privacy thing here. Just kind of like these bushes here, it's a privacy thing. And the grass that they took out, I told them to put it over here in this one area. Grass back here doesn't grow worth a darn. And they did. They put it right here. This grass will kind of hopefully take over this area. That's where my bamboo is at. I've been taking it out piece at a time. I'm almost done, and then I'm going to cut all that out. I'm going to put grass back in there too. Makes it easier for the guy mowing the yard. As you can see, this area here, this is what happens back here. The grass just doesn't grow. So the bush we had up front, that you remember next to the sidewalk, I said was growing the wrong direction. There was a tree I had here. I had the tree taken out because our neighbors has got this stuff over here. So my tree, and it was just getting to be a mess back here, so we had it taken out. But we had it put back here. Our granddaughter's plants that they had to dig up also, we had them put back in. I got a bunch of mulch to put back in there. So that takes care of this part back here. This makes this bigger. The future plans are not 100%. I thought Sue said she wanted a pergola put back here over this area here anyway, maybe a little bit of that area, but basically over this area here. Then the trellis, and then the vine. But now she's thinking maybe we'll just put a sunset or shade here where you just hit a button, it'll go out and have a couple of chairs, maybe a table here, and you can sit out here. So here's the area up front. I had all them bushes and stuff taken out. I just got tired of them. Got tired of trimming them. Like those over there. All these here, maybe most of them, maybe one or two will stay, but the next step is these bushes are all coming out. Hopefully. But that big palm tree that we had transplanted back here in the back, I think it's called a Robolini. It was sitting right here. We just took it out. All the plants here was out. Now, Sue's thinking, now that we see what it kind of looks like, it's hard for us to imagine what this stuff looks like till they do the work. Now she's thinking maybe a pergola out here, which means they'll cut into that gutter, put a new thing up there, and they'll come out. And then, of course, the poles and everything will be pretty. We'll have to work it out because we really don't know. See, I thought a sunsetter shade here from the very beginning, and have a couple of chairs, maybe a table out here or whatever, and she could poke a button, sunsetter shade would come out and shade this area. Because in the afternoon, my house, the lanai faces west, which you want your lanai to either face west or north. Well, mine faces west, which is great for me. Sun gets up at 9 o'clock, my lanai is shaded the rest of the day. When the sun gets to about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, it's about right there. And it comes down and sets over there. So this is in sunlight most of the hot afternoon. So that's why I was thinking sunset or shade, you know, it kind of shades everything, and she can sit out here. Now she's talking maybe a pergola, I don't know. We're working on it. We're going to be saving the money up anyway. It's not going to happen right away. This is going to be in stages. This area here, putting this in, putting that in the back, plus the material, removing the tree, removing this bush, removing all this brush here, and hauling all that away. And the labor to do it, I think, was a little over $3,000. So now that that's done and out of the way, we'll get the ARC permits to do the pergolas if we decide one. Hell, maybe we'll build a pergola on both sides of the house. I don't know. I'm also thinking retail when you go to sell. I'm always thinking that. We've done okay here. Our houses went up in value. 7.5 years we've lived here, it's went up quite a bit. I can't complain. This square block here and that square add-on out front, plus tearing out this tree and everything in here, transplanting this in here after taking it out up front, and the cleanup and everything, of course, and everything was $3,000. So we ain't even got to the pergolas yet. I got a feeling that's what's going to cost me. Okay, we're inside now. Let me give you a little talk about some of the things we discovered when we ourselves decided we wanted to start doing a little bit of upgrading to our landscaping. Beer of the day, by the way, Yingling. We started calling people that we've been using in the past, that we have used in the past, because we know their work, and you know, if something ain't broke, why fix it? Some of them places have been sold and new owners, and they have their own rules that really I couldn't live with, so we passed. And then I started calling people that I've worked with before, and they also have new rules now because of the COVID thing. Not as far as distancing or anything like that, but because of COVID, they can't get parts in like they should. They can't get materials in like they should. And it's a back order on top of a back order on top of a back order. Now that kind of puts the companies in control of a lot of things. One is, when you have a small job, my job here, what we're doing here, that I'm doing in stages because of my financial, I won't say situation, I'm not poor or nothing, but because I have to do things in stages. I'm budgeting my money. So a lot of them, because now they're looking for the bigger job. Some of their crew members are gone. They didn't come back to work. Now that we've signed off that federal thing with unemployment, they're going to have to go back to work because that unemployment is gone. I think it's gone now, or it's going to be disappearing really soon. So most of them are working with a shallow crew. And so they're looking for the bigger jobs. And so now they've come up with this minimum charge that they never had before. None of them. None that I ever did business with. So now the people we did business with here, which was Terrascape, we showed that video. I think their minimum charge now is, I want to say $2,500. See, and this is a $3,000 job. I called the Village's Palms, which I really like the Village's Palms. They have all the information and all the equipment, and I wanted to get an estimate from them. Well, let me just say, when the guy came out here, I was walking outside when he pulled up in his truck, and I could just tell by the way he was walking and his attitude that he wasn't interested in doing this job at all. Wasn't big enough. I could just tell. That's when I found out, I believe their minimum charge was $4,500. And so the guy literally walked up my driveway. He handed me a folder. In that folder was an application for ARC, Architectural Review Committee, blah, 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 which, no, that's something that they should be doing. That's part of what I think is their job. Everybody else done it. Terrascape did the ARC approval thing. I didn't have to do all that. You get a copy of everything, but I didn't have to do it. And the guy comes up and he says, "Why are you wanting to put pavers in?" He said, "Why don't you just put concrete in and then you can have it painted to match everything else," which is originally what I thought I was wanting to do, to match. And I said, well, the problem is the concrete companies, because the Villages is building all these houses down here, they have a demand for concrete that is just unreal. So they don't really need these small jobs like what I've got. So they've got a minimum charge too. You have to buy, this ain't going to be correct. I'm just going to use this as an example. You got to buy something like 2 or 3 yards of concrete, no matter how much you use. That's the minimum charge, like 2 yards of concrete, let's say. Well, I probably need less than a yard for these 2 little squares. And with the delivery charge and the concrete charge and all this and that, it was too much. It was just because then I'd have to have it painted, and it just got to be too much. When I had these pavers put in, believe it or not, it was a lot less money. Does it match perfectly? No, but we're going to work with that. In the design of other things, we're going to try to work with that. So just know that the COVID and the lack of getting, I'll call it parts, building materials and things like that a lot of these companies now are changing the rules. And it's not necessarily to your favor. It certainly wasn't in my favor. Now, if you have a large project, it could be in your favor. You could be just fine. But if it's a smaller project, it's tough. It's tough. And the thought of going to Lowe's and just buying a bunch of stuff and dragging it to your house, or having Lowe's deliver it to your house, and hiring a couple of guys out in the parking lot to come to your house and do this work. Hey, if you feel good about doing that, you do it. This guy ain't doing that. I want a company, and I want just not any company. I want a company that's got an office, that has a front door, people that I can talk to if something goes wrong. And that's who I do business with. I don't do business with somebody's name I can't pronounce, and they got a pickup truck and a cell phone number, and that's it. They don't have nothing else. I don't do business that way, and I'm not going to. But that's up to you. You do whatever you think you need to do. So anyway, that gets you caught up on the project so far. I'll try to do more videos. I know it's probably not very interesting for a lot of people, but I just want to show you things that we've discovered, things that we've seen, and how it's going. And so far, everything's going good. This project started like 4 months ago, before we went on our RV trip. It took 6 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. And this project was supposed to have been done before we took our RV trip. And then the materials didn't come in. And then they had to back order. Well, by that time, we were already on the road. And we said, we'll call you when we get back to get started. We're not there. And so when we got back, we called them. I don't remember how long ago it was. We got back 2 weeks ago. We called them. They put us on the board. They came out yesterday and the day before yesterday. The materials was delivered 3 days ago. The next day they showed up and started the project. And 2 days later, the part that stage 1, I'll call it, is now done. And now we've got to move on to stage 2. And in the meantime, we have to save a little money. And that gives us time to kind of work out exactly what are we wanting to do on stage 2, find out what a sunset or shade is going to cost, find out what a pergola is going to cost, how long is it going to be to get any of this stuff done. We'll just have to work through it. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it helps. And with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to end this video and say, boy, it's hot. See you guys on the other side.